this is going to be a tough exercise. So I need you to stay with me. I'm heating these up in my hands. The friction of the motion in my hands warming them up. You can do that by, shaking it with your hand that way. I'm sure everybody loves that. But you can also do it by rolling them, because the friction from your hands helps create heat to warm the oils. Okay. All right. Wow, those are good. Just a couple more. Well, today we're going to work on something very interesting. You've heard of the sounds of summer. The songs of spring. Well, today we're going to work on the smells of summer. I know. But I can't smell through this. Right here. You can't smell. And that's the role play. That's the give and take. I've got to convince you that you can smell what I'm holding. And if I fail, then I'm a miserable wretch. It's okay. I'll move a few things out of the way here. How are you today, by the way? I love spring. One of the reasons I love spring the most is the fresh fruits that we get from the store. Look at that. The first strawberry of spring. Did you know the strawberry is unique? It only has seeds on the outside of its fruit. And red is very important, genetically speaking, in fruits. Peppers are usually red in nature. This is a evolutionary advantage for the pepper because mammalian creatures stay away from the color red, but birds do not. They are attracted by it. And birds do not digest the seeds they eat. So the bird comes down and eats the strawberry, swallows the seeds, digests the fruit of the plant, and then excretes the seeds, spreading the strawberry far across the land. It's amazing, isn't it? I think so. I mean, I'm completely dumbfounded by it. So peppers and strawberries share a genetic similarity in that respect. Bright red means survival. These are from the south, and I live in the north. You know, I can tell. I've been to the south. I just came from Louisiana. California. Mm-hmm. Okay, this come from Southern California. Mm. So good. Mm. You know how I can tell where the strawberry came from? Because it's sour, it's not sweet. But anybody from Louisiana or Southern California or Mississippi will tell you, well, that ain't true. Strawberry is sweet. It's very sweet where we live. And they're correct. But when I eat their strawberry, it's sour. Because they pick this before it's ripe. And it ripens in a truck or a train car. And because of that, it's not sweet. It's not sun sweetened. The sugars haven't changed over. So it's sour. So people in Ohio and Chicago and Pennsylvania and New York have to put sugar on their strawberries in the spring. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? The gorgeous reds. Look at the seeds. Covered in its seeds. Survival right out there in front of you. Putting its life essence right out there in front of you. If you want this, you gotta take me with you. Amazing, isn't it? Mm. Mm. Okay. Mm. What a wonderful early morning treat. Look at the size of these things, too. Look at that one. I have a big hand. That's a big strawberry. We're going to save that one for some delicious dessert tonight after dinner. But I thought the family would like if I stopped and got some. So I'm very proud of myself. So good. So good. Sour. The touch of that sweet strawberry flavor. The smell of strawberries. Strawberry jam. Smell of strawberry lip balm when you go in to kiss your wife, your girlfriend. That faint smell, taste on your lips. Such a beautiful thing. Have you ever smelled a strawberry? Think about it. It's faint and it happens so fast. And it comes and it goes. It's a fleeting moment in time. A fleeting, tiny, tiny little piece of your life. But it's there. Every time you smell that strawberry smell, you know it. Those little tiny odors float up into your mind. You know what I'm talking about. I've smelled that before. What is that? Oh, that's what that is. That's why perfumes remind us of pretty girls, pretty women, handsome men. That's right. Men wear cologne. I do. I'm an aqua velva man. Not high karate. Aqua velva. And when my wife comes in closely, you can tell she smells my cologne, my aftershave. You can see it. You can feel it in the human experience when the hands grip a little tighter and a person pulls you in a little tighter. The reaction to the smell of the perfumes and the vapors given off from your colognes. You can see the reaction of a man when he smells a woman's hair. And that moment when the perfumes from her hair enter his nose and he smells the most beautiful thing he's ever seen. Smells the most beautiful thing he's ever seen. Because you see with your nose, you feel with your taste, you perceive the world around you through your hearing, through your eyes. They combine. Your eyes are closed, yet you can see the person that you're kissing in your mind because you taste the strawberry lip balm on her lips. The gentle taste of that on your palate brings back that memory every time. And you see the person standing in front of you. She was the most beautiful thing I ever saw with my eyes. She smelled like the flowers of spring. I loved to run my hands through her hair and hold the locks of her hair to my nose. I can see her like it was yesterday. I can feel her on the tips of my fingers. I can almost touch her all these years ago. That girl I fell in love with, that fell in love with me, that spent the rest of her life with me. I can feel her like she's right there. And I know all of you have experienced these things, heard these things, perceived these things. I know, because I have, and I don't think we're all that very different. I think human beings are mostly the same. I have a smell here. I want you to try it. Do you smell it? Oh. Do you smell it? That's right. That's right. To get started, cinnamon. The strong smell of cinnamon. All the memories. Close your eyes and think about all the images that just popped into your mind. The hot cocos with cinnamon sticks. The spearmint, cinnamon flavored cookies, candies of Christmas. And it's so dark and cold, but you can smell the warmth of that warm oven baking those cinnamon cookies, bringing you back. Close your eyes for a moment. Take it in and remember those cinnamon drinks cinnamon cereal. How wonderful it is in the morning. How it wakens the senses. And it's so cold, but winter's almost over. On Christmas, it's the shortest day of the year, just about. The winter solstice. But on that day, there's new hope. Because even on that day, we start to go in reverse. And the days start becoming longer. And spring is coming. Always coming. Never fails. So let's try. Another one. I really like this one. Oh. Lavender. That's right. Lavender. The wonderful smell of spring flowers. Have you ever done this? Have you ever gone into the woods and took some flowers, wildflowers, and you smash them up in your hands and smell them? I'm serious. Just a few. Some little bluebells, little daffodils, little wildflowers. Crush them up in your hands. That moment. Close your eyes when you do it. Ready? Do it with me. We're going to crush up the flowers. Come on, you can do it with me. Oh, and you put them on your clothes so you can smell it all day. Do you remember those days when you were a child and you did that? When you took a dandelion and you rubbed it and you had yellow on your chin? You used to pick on each other. You used to take the dandelions and you used to hold them up. And you used to go, Mom, I had a baby and her head popped off. Do you remember that? The taste of those fresh, green dandelions in your salad. Do you remember that? Always from the backyard and not where the dog goes. That weed in the middle of your yard, so unwanted, could actually bring nutrients to your body. They used to make wine out of dandelions. They did. Here's one. Oh. Try this one. There you go. Lemon. That's right, lemongrass. Oh. Lemon. The clean smell of lemon. How we as humans have related the smell of lemon with cleanliness. Isn't that amazing? Oh, it's so beautiful. Here, have some more. Can you smell it? Do you smell the lemons wafting into your nose? Please tell me. Do you smell the lemon? It's right there. That's right. Lemon. The fresh fruits of spring and summer. The lemons. The peaches. The apples. I live far north, and the apples only bloom a certain time of year. We hardly ever have peaches but one time a year. But those peaches are so good. The plums. Oh, the plum trees. When I was a child, there were plum trees everywhere in our neighbors' yards. And the neighbors used to laugh, and they didn't care. The children would run from house to house and pick the plums and eat them. And the crab apples, we would eat the crab apples. They were about that big. Okay? We would eat the crab apples. And we would eat so many plums and crab apples and blackberries that were growing wild at the edges of everyone's property. By the end of the day, we all got sick. And we were all in the bathroom. And it was hilarious. And we did it again and again. We just didn't learn. I mean, it was right there. All those warm plums, warmed by the sun. They were bursting. They were fat, full of juice and water. And they were so precious. To pluck that big, fat, sun-ripened plum, so dark blue, ready to burst, and to take that big bite and watch it come down your chin. The juice is everywhere. Messy, sticky hands, dirt, grass, everything sticking to your hands, and you still stuck your dirty fingers with that big, fat, overripened plum right in your mouth. It's no wonder. It's no wonder we miss being children. So fun. Such a relaxing time. If you close your eyes, can you remember it? Even for a moment? Oh, this is a good one. Oh, this is a good one. Do you remember this one? Don't close your eyes yet. Take it in. I know you know this one. I know you know it. Spring rained. That's right. The first hard thunderstorm of spring. The spring rains. Nature cleansing the planet. Spring rain. That boisterous, loud, obnoxious thunder. Frightening lightning. Exploding around you. Potential destruction leading to cleansing of the nature around you. That smell. Pull it in. Pull this in. Oh, that smell. Pull it in. Pull it inside. Into your mind. Into your heart. Let your soul and your mind unite. And remember that day. You realized all the stagnant smells of winter just washed away in that hard, strong, sweeping spring rain that took all of that away, cleansed the world around you, left everything smelling fresh, new, beautiful. Do you remember the spring rains? They're here again. I can almost hear this thunder in the distance coming. They'll be here soon. They will. They always come back. The spring rains always come back to renew us, to cleanse the land around us, to bring us peace, to let the flowers grow and the crops yield their life-giving produce to us 1 year again and again. Did you hear it? The thunder's coming. And let's try one more. smell of roses. The roses of summer. That beautiful rose. Delicate. Expansive, opening up. Giving away its beauty to the world. Protected by the most fiercest of thorns. Bristles of thorns. Tangled vines of the sharpest cutting edges in nature. That beautiful rose growing on a trellis right next to those delicious blackberries. Those blackberries, the actual seeds sticking in your teeth, but you eat them regardless. The vines of the blackberry trellised on metal. That's right, you have to wire blackberries to a trellis with wire to make them grow where you want them to. So dangerous. Such a fierce plant fighting back against all the forces around it, resisting to the end. Even its leaves pointed and jaggy, warding off the animals, waiting for the birds to come and carry their unripened red blackberries far and wide and spreading their lineage across the country, across the world. I love my roses and my blackberries. I just love blackberries. I go, and I'm not making this up. I go every year, twice a year usually, to get enough, to a blueberry farm, and we pick blueberries for an afternoon. But on the edge of the farm, in the distance, are some wild blackberries where we go. And I walk over there because the farmer doesn't mind. And I pick a little bowl about that big of blackberries every time I go. And I can eat as many as I want because they're wild and the farmer doesn't care. And I always say, how much for the blackberries? And they laugh. And it's right there. Like when I was a child, you're walking through somebody's yard, and in the back corner of their property is this apple tree with apples all across the ground that they haven't cleaned up. Pear trees. People used to have pear trees, and there would be pears all over the ground. And when we were children, we could go and gather up a barrel of pears, apples, plums, off the edges of all of these property lines. And the people were happy we took them. People that we took them from grew up in the Depression, and they were older when I was a child, and they were happy to see that we were thrifty. And we were collecting these fruits that were going to waste. And it amazed me. It always amazed me. You're paying for this fruit, but if you walk a few feet, there's free fruit right there. And it's all around you. If you look in an older neighborhood, you'll see the old pear and peach and apple trees. The people were very smart back then, and they grew these things. They grew them to subsist off of and to help lower their food cost bills. And the apples, I remember my friend had an apple tree, and it had these, I've never seen them but one time in my life. They were these green apples, and I can't exaggerate, I gotta be honest. They were every bit this big, or bigger. Now that's a big apple. this apple looked like a melon. They were green, and usually green apples aren't the best for pies. Usually little Macintosh, the little red round apples, are good for pies. Believe it or not, Red Delicious isn't real good for a pie. It's an eating apple. It's good for baking and eating. It's not good for a pie. Bet you didn't know that. I know these things. Well, this green apple was monstrous. It looked like a Red Delicious in shape, but it was huge. You could make a pie with one. I think you could, because we did. I thought it was one. We made 2 or 3 pies. I don't know how many apples we used. Maybe we used 3 or 4 apples total in 3 pies. It was the most fabulous pie I have ever had. I've never had a piece of pie from that apple before or since. That tree doesn't exist anymore. I don't know what breed of apple it is. I've looked it up. I can't find it. And it was incredible. And my friend said, well, the people that used to own the house said those are good for pies, so we tried it, and it was unbelievable. Could not believe how good it was. Got sick. I ate too much. I ate like 3 pieces of pie. We all did, with whipped cream on it, and everybody got not sick, but you're like, oh, I shouldn't have ate so much. We basically had pie for dinner. I mean, everybody just had pie for dinner. Oh, we didn't even touch the other food, and it was unbelievable. And I thought, this is some older breed of apple that's lost. We lost this. I mean, I'm sure somebody has it or knows about it, but it's rare, I guess, because it's not popular. Now, you'd have to sell one of these for like $6, I think. You'd have to sell it for at least the price of a melon, or a watermelon, $6-7 for a small watermelon. You'd have to sell these apples. So who's going to buy them when you can buy a whole bag for a couple bucks? There's probably an economic reason that this apple never took off or died out as a breed, but it was just so good. And the smell of that apple cooking, mixing with the cinnamon, the smell of that fresh dough. Can you almost smell it yourself? When you have that rhubarb pie, you go out to your neighbor's yard and you cut that wild rhubarb down that they grow on the side of the house, and you ask that old neighbor lady, I hate to say old, but I guess that's polite because she is. You ask that old neighbor lady to cook you up a rhubarb pie if I go out and get it. Did you ever do that when you were a kid? We did. We did. And it was pretty incredible. And then those days they go, and you're alone or whatever, and you walk into a store, right? And you walk down the counter, and there it is, that smell from your childhood, just for a second coming from those scented pine boughs, or that florist shop in the grocery store, just for a second. You smell that apple pie. Can you smell it? It's right here. Do you smell the apple pie? It's right in front of you. Can you smell that homemade apple pie? Just like you always remember it. How wonderful. And you remember what it was like in that spring, that summer, that moment, running with your friends, playing with your dog, jumping over things, swinging images flowing through your mind, brought before your eyes visually by a few drops of a smell permeating your nose. And it's so beautiful, so relaxing, and it brings you peace. It really does. You don't need to be told to relax, relax, relax. You can relax all on your own, and you can rest all by yourself if you take the time to remember those triggers that bring you back in time, those simpler times when you could rest, when you were happier, and they don't have to go away. They're right here. They're right here. So allow these smells in your life to bring you back one more time, and never forget who you are and what made you the person you are today. The sights, the sounds, the smells, the tastes, and the touches of the world around you. You deserve good memories. They're out there. You deserve those good memories. You deserve to use them in reverence, love, and happiness. They're yours. They're nobody else's. And your experiences are so wonderful. They made you into the person you are today. So take the time this spring and summer to remember who you are and that you deserve these moments in your life. You do. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Dr. Andrew Michaels, and I am here to help you. That's right. I'm here to help you. And I hope you found some pleasure, some relaxation, and some peace today. And you can achieve these things in your own life. And I'm here to tell you, you deserve it. Remember that. Okay? You do that for me. You do that for me, and I'll keep making videos for you. Okay? Just the way you like them. Till I see all of you again, please have a most blessed day and a wonderful Easter weekend and the most precious spring of your life. Summer's right around the corner. You can almost hear the thunder in the distance. It's almost here. Bye-bye.